Hello everyone, this is RexRed. I am back with another Eazy3DTv tutorial today. And what we plan to accomplish today is going to be managing clouds in Daz Studio. This is a little bit bigger of a topic than just clouds alone, but I figured clouds would be a good place to kind of focus something seemingly complicated. Welcome, Angus. Good evening to you from the hinterlands. I hope things are going well for you tonight, friend. I do. Welcome. So tonight we are working with clouds, okay? So the thing is, Daz has a lot of cloud assets, okay? And if you go to the Daz store, are here, and we go to the Daz store and we type in clouds, you will see that there are a bunch of clouds. There's ultra scenery cloud volumes, there's stormfront clouds with lightning, there are HDRI clouds, and there is this tempest cloud vortex, okay? And mountain range VDBs, okay, and tundra, these are other HDRIs. So basically, there are like 4 different kinds of clouds that I can think of, types of clouds. One of them is your HDRI, and that is just putting an image. Oh, quiet is good. Very, very nice, Angus. Very nice. Quiet is lovely indeed, my friend. Just a moment. Quiet is very nice. So the HDRI clouds that we can purchase in the Daz store are very, very, very large images that we stretch along the sky dome of the scene. And those very large images, you can purchase them in the Daz store. You can purchase many of them. There are sky domes of skies in the Daz store that you can purchase that don't have any clouds on them. They're actually clear skies. But a lot of times, really, it all depends on what you're looking for in your scene. If you are looking for a scene with clouds or without clouds. And so here we have another. So HDRI is one type, and then we have VDB clouds. This is an example of VDB clouds that you can purchase. And these clouds are what I would call a particle field. And a particle field is like a box or a rectangle or a sphere, some kind of shape. And inside of that shape are a lot of particles, little teeny tiny particles that can catch the light from your sun in the scene or from your lights in the scene. They irradiate the same way a cloud or a piece of moisture in the air would radiate. And so the computer is really good at making these arrays of particles And those particles can be anything from a piece of dust, from an object like a John Deere tractor, but it's so tiny that it's so tiny it's a piece of dust, but it's actually a John Deere tractor. And there are a million of them, and the light hits them all the same way. I mean, any kind of object you can miniaturize into a piece of dust and put a billion of them into what looks like a cloud of John Deere tractors, okay, just to be kind of odd about it. So, and because you're making this blob of stuff inside of some sort of area, like a sphere or a triangle or a rectangle or cube or a Bezier or torus or something, any kind of thing like that, these clouds you can create in the sky, and they are VDB clouds, and you can make them more dense or less dense, and in some cases you can animate them also, and you can add fire into them so that they have not only like a heat aspect, okay, where the more heat you turn up, the more the clouds, starts to fill the clouds, looking like an explosion within the cloud kind of thing. So that is VDB clouds. There's a lot more about VDB clouds because, as you can see, this is another type of VDB cloud. So, but it's a swirling vortex. So you can make clouds in any kind, and this obviously, as you can see, has this heat element within it, okay? That is new to the Daz Studio VDBs. At first, we just got VDBs, and then we got VDBs with like heat or flame, a flame kind of element within them. And so as you can see, there are this has some kind of light that's illuminating this one, and I'm not sure why I wasn't able to kind of go through them all like this. Okay, so this is using the sun to light of the HDRI to light the VDB cloud, and then this looks like it may be another kind of cloud here. Then we have clouds that are on transparent planes, and you just put basically a plane behind your scene, behind the objects, the main objects in your scene. You put that plane behind it, and the plane has cloud pictures on it, and the rest, the cloud is visible, but everything else on the plane is invisible. So all you see is the cloud in the sky, and there are many examples. Okay, here are more volumetric clouds, I-ray clouds. Okay, now this particular set of clouds I did not purchase. This is in my, I would want to add to my cloud collection. These are, I believe also, they may be, okay, so this doesn't say that these are VDBs. These are something from mesh features of I-ray and comparing to a non-rendering example mesh for easy placement of clouds, volumetric clouds for I-ray. I don't believe these are VDBs, so it's another kind of it looks like a volume, but they're not as you can see, they're just not as detailed as our dense, and they don't have the properties of a true VDB. That's why I didn't purchase this. But they do work as a cloud. Now here are some more clouds. This VDB cloud, now this is something that I have purchased. And this is this collection in use, okay? This is an amazing collection. Okay, we're going to work with this collection today. You have two different kinds. You have these wispy clouds, and then you have these more formed clouds. And you have these, what, kind of cirrus clouds, I guess. It takes art to use these in the sky creatively. All right, so it's not just something. Sometimes you can just put them in the sky and they seem to work. Now here again, this is a VDB. I mean, these are HDRIs. Wallace. Very nice. Well, you may have some of these in your, you might have some of them that you have purchased too. They kind of sneak their way in. So this again is a VDB cloud collection. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Very nice to have you here, Shaggy. Very nice. So this will let me know if it's worth the purchase. You want to take and grab them. They are worth the purchase, I can tell you, but you can decide for yourself once you see them in action. I will tell the thing is that you want to get them on sale, okay? You want to get all of this. And these are VDBs. These could be used as cloud because you can turn the flame part off, okay? And all you'd be using would be this cloud. And then you could somehow, like, artistically arrange them in the sky. So any VDB, yeah. So yes, you might be able to find some hiding in your, but the VDB clouds, I would say pretty much all you want to grab as many clouds as you want, because you're going to have many, many, many scenes, unless you are a portrait artist where you just use portraits. And even just with portraits, a lot of those backgrounds that you see, those backdrops, the infinity coves that photographers put behind a portrait, a lot of them have kind of cloudy patterns on them. So, and those could work for those as well. So even for portrait artists, clouds, here is another, this is another HDRI collection. So these you're kind of stuck with what you get. These look like these are actually some kind of volumetric cloud. They don't look like real clouds to me, but they're very, very nice anyway. And they're embedded into this image that is stretched around the world dome. Okay, these are they're very beautiful. I bought this set here, and it's very beautiful. And the clouds, they don't really, to my eye, they don't look real, but they work, okay, in a scene very nicely. If you just have a picnic here and you have your characters in here and in this world, you just kind of don't really notice the clouds too much, but they do work, okay? And it really comes down to the talent of the artist. And I think this artist is very talented, okay? They have a couple of different things going on. They have these clouds seem to have a multicolor going on. All right, so these are the different images that come with that. So, and then there are clouds that are like on little cards. You know, they're like, and the cloud, because if you have a cloud that's an image, that image has only one way it can be placed in your scene. You want it behind your objects in the scene, but you want it to be facing facing your camera. Because if it's sideways and it's a plane, you won't see it at all, because it will look like a blade kind of going down. It'll look like a straight line in the middle of your scene. It's like, what is that? So the cloud has to be facing your camera. But what if you take and put a whole bunch of little slices of pictures that they're all on, each image has a cloud on it, and the image is, all the little slices go around in from a point in the center. They just kind of go up and around in every direction, so that when you spin this object around with a bunch of planes in it, it looks like a three-dimensional cloud. Well, you can buy those kinds of clouds in the Daz store as well, okay? And then there's, I think, one more type of cloud is also, well, yeah, there are VDB clouds, and then there are volumetric clouds, which are a slightly different technology in Daz. And I'm not really that up on, see, these would be volumetric clouds, and these are VDB clouds. This is another huge cloud collection, okay? And as you can see, we have these are VDB clouds. So these are the real kind of McCoy. These are the clouds you kind of want to look for. Always make sure you know what kind of clouds you're buying, okay? And what I would suggest is work your way back from HDRI clouds, which you can't change, okay? HDRI clouds, I use them a lot, and those are on just an image that goes around the world sphere. And then you have these other clouds that you can place in the scene, way into the scene. And as you can see, these mountains are sort of, the clouds are going in front of the mountains, and the mountains are going through the clouds. It's a nice effect, okay? But that's what you can do with these. So this is your scene without them. This is your scene with them. I think they work very well, but again, you have to use art with them. You have to do them artfully, okay? Place them in your scene. These are the clouds you get with this. And and there's also storm clouds with lightning in them. So this is what you get with this particular product. They, well, a volume is kind of an object too, technically, all right? They, even a plane with clouds on them is an object, okay? So theoretically, all of these, even an HDRI in the scene is an object in some loose terminology. The thing is that this object comes along with it. One of them will be volumetric, okay, object, okay, and you have a VDB object, and then you have a plane kind of object, okay, where you'd have clouds on a plane. It wouldn't be a volumetric, it wouldn't be a VDB, it would be a plane, and they also are sometimes called transparency clouds. And that's where Photoshop brushes come in, where you can use brushes in Photoshop. And I'd love to just dash into Photoshop and throw some cloud images on a plane, but we'll save that for another time, okay? But that's how you can create your own cloud patterns and put them on. And you can also use a program called Embergen. And Embergen, you can buy Embergen. They have a deal where you pay them for 18 months. You pay them, and I'm currently in that deal with them, and I don't want to back. If you back out, you lose all the money you put towards it. But if you pay them for 18 months, which is over a year, and it's like $25 a month, and Embergen here, if you pay them for 18 months, you can, this is a VDB. This Embergen gives you animated clouds, software, we go to Embergen. Okay, I thought I was here, but when I zoom out, it's this kind of, okay. And as you can see here, well, you know, this is Embergen. This is what these are VDB objects, okay? Product ID 2409. Product ID. So, okay, is that what this is? The product ID. Okay, this, I'm not sure which product. 24009. Okay. Okay, I'm seeing pumps. I'm not sure if you're looking product ID. I'm not sure which product you're talking about here, but okay, so these are the different types of cloud objects that you can put in your scene. They can take forever, but they rely very heavily on your graphics card, which, like way back when we had Daz Studio, volumes were rendered. Put just the number in, okay. Okay, iRay clouds. Here's another. Yeah, these would, okay, as it gives you the power to add clouds to your iRay. Clouds can change the entire scene feel. Default cumulus clouds. Okay, this is another object, another type of object. I believe these would be considered volumetric clouds, okay? And these would fall, it says cumulus clouds, but these would, one gradient map, okay, 3 texture maps. I have not purchased this product, so I really can't tell you exactly, but that's what this is, is a, let's see what if there's iRay clouds gives you the power to add clouds to your iRay renders and the ability to add an air of solace, beauty, trouble, or an aura of mystery to your iRay renders. Clouds can change the entire feeling of any scene with boundless shapes, limitless possibilities, size and density. See how your renders take on a whole new look with iRay clouds. Now, these they call them volumetric clouds, okay? But they may be like an early form of VDB that was like very proprietary in Daz. So they're very close to being a VDB, but they're not. And the reason why is it's like the where you have iRay and you have PBR textures. They're both kind of layered textures, but they have a different language. And that's what this is it's a volumetric kind of cloud. It's still probably particles, okay, that have been coagulated into clouds, but this volumetric clouds are like where one is iRay and the other is this VDB kind of cloud that is more out in the world right now is the standard cloud, where it like iRay and NVIDIA. I'm having a drink of water. Okay, so this is, we'll add this also. This is very important. I think it's nice to have all these clouds to kind of play with and see what works in your scene. That looks hideous, but it's a nice scene. It just, the cloud for some reason doesn't work to me, okay? This is kind of interesting. It reminds me of some of those like J.R. Tolkien maps and things like that. So, excuse me again, clearing my throat. This looks pretty nice. I think this works. It kind of looks like little mountains, but then they're clouds. I think this works. So it's a hit or miss kind of thing. So thank you very much, E. Wallace, Shaggy, for sharing that product. This is very nice of you to share this. So I believe this is a precursor to our VDB. It's very similar to VDB clouds, except that and I have to take this sweatshirt off, this sweat jacket, because it's too warm. Suddenly it's just boiling. Okay, so once you start purchasing these products, you end up with a ton of them in Daz Studio. And they live in two places, okay? They live in your content library and they live in your smart content. They live in both. So you can access them through your smart content or through your content library. In your smart content, they're kind of like all over the place, and in your content library, they're kind of like all over everywhere. And what you can do is you can just type in clouds into your files, and then you end up with this master list of anything that seems to have the word cloud in it. And as you go down through these clouds, okay, now this we'll go and we'll explore this product here. Now this is Kinetic Arcana ground effects. And if we look at the props here, we have a ton of these are VDB clouds. But as you can see, there are some that are just like this is a cloud, just a regular cloud. And these are some plumes. And just because these mushroom clouds and all just kind of give me the creeps, okay? They're kind of spooky and they kind of bother me in a way. But I bought it anyway, okay, because it was very inexpensive. I probably only paid about $3 or $4. And normally how to use the scripts on that one. Yeah, well, we have the tile textures, okay, and these I can't even see what those say. Scale containers, okay. They're very simple. The scale containers on that's very simple, okay. And how this works, it just works like another. I believe these are VDBs. Let's put one in the scene, okay. Let's put this cloud here in the scene, okay. I don't know why they're pink like that, but those are materials. Okay, so what we would do, this is a very odd kind of prop. So we go into props and we would look, okay, these are actual props, okay. So we put this prop in the scene and this prop is contained within a container. So if we go to our texture shaded, as you can see, it's inside of this containment field, okay? And we go here and you can see it's contained completely within it, okay? And so that the top doesn't get clipped, it's called, so you don't clip it. But this, now if we go over here and we drop down this is the actual object. I'm not sure that they are animated. I don't believe that Daz. No, I don't believe they are. You can animate. The only way to animate VDBs in Daz Studio is to have multiple pictures of them. Okay, to have multiple snapshots. What you have to do is go into a program like Embergen and EmberGen animates the cloud for you. And what you do is you stop and you take a snapshot of it each frame. And so in the timeline, what you do is you load each frame, you load a different VDB. Okay, so this only comes with, it looks like, props. It only looks like it comes with about maybe 20 VDBs. Okay, these are VDBs also. It only looks like it comes with about 20. All these that say prop. Now, if it was animated, this prop alone would have, like 100 versions of itself, but just slightly off. Okay, that's the way Daz handles. You can animate VDBs, but you have to have like this VDB, and then the next sequence of this VDB, and the next sequence, and the next sequence, where it morphs and moves and changes. And then you can play them. What happens is Daz loads each VDB per frame. And you can do it. It's very easy. It's not that hard. I mean, it's not very easy. It's a little bit of a process. But what you do is you go into a program like EmberGen, and I would have thought that EmberGen would have some kind of show this the library. It's like learn EmberGen tutorials, marketplace, software marketplace, downloads. There should be a library of cool stuff you can do with EmberGen and some of the other programs. I think they've kind of missed the boat on this, because when I come here, I don't see, but this is an EmberGen. This is fire rather than smoke, okay? So EmberGen can generate fire, and it can generate smoke. And what is smoke? A cloud. It's a form of a cloud. And if it can generate one particle of smoke, it can just about you theoretically can generate any kind of cloud or mist or fog or haze or anything that you want, okay? And what it does is it generates it, it animates it. And so as you can see, here is a timeline. So as the timeline is playing, this is happening. They're not showing this correctly, because this timeline should be, they've put a picture and a little video inside of here. They've kind of cheated. But the way this would actually work is this would be going along this timeline as that's going. And each frame is a different VDB. And so then what you do is you go down here to the end and you export each frame. And then you end up with a folder full of, like, depending on how long, if it's 30 frames per second or whatever, you end up with a folder with a whole bunch of VDBs in them. And they're numbered like 0 to like 500 or whatever. And then you bring them in and you load them into the timeline here. And then and then when you click play, it plays through all of those VDBs. So you could tell a product, if it was sold in the Daz store, if it said that each VDB has, X amount of VDBs associated with it. Then they would be, you'd go into each one of these would have a folder with a series of VDBs in them. That's coming, okay? I have a feeling that there's going to be just a way of clicking on something and you've got an animated sky. But the thing is that people in Daz Studio, they're not doing animations, because Daz Studio gives us really, 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 really high quality stuff. And high quality stuff doesn't animate well, okay? So most of us are I call it still artists, where we want one still frame and we work on that frame for hours to make sure that frame is perfect, okay? We're not animators. You can animate, you can lower the quality of things, and you can animate in Daz, but most of us are trying to get, we're going in the other direction. We want to get the most out of one frame. We want layers and layers of things on our skin. And we want all of this so that we can capture that perfect frame. Okay, so this is another product. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you now. I don't believe I'm going to be doing a lot of like putting clouds into the scene. In the first part of this video, I'm going to show you, because this video is called Managing Clouds in Daz Studio. I will show you some of these clouds and how to put them into the scene, okay? But you pretty much just click on them and you put them in, and then you move them where you want them. You resize them. Okay, we go to parameters and we scale it like this. Scale the cloud. We go way in like this. And oops. We go way in like this. Oh, this right here is like impossible to use this particular. Daz, something's got to be done about this. All right, so then we come into the parameters. Once you go into surfaces, and you can always tell if it's a VDB if when you click on, you drop it down until you get to the actual VDB itself, and then you look at this density multiplier, and I could bring this down to like 10, or bring it down to 1, and suddenly we have a cloud, okay? And this is obviously a cloud that comes up off the horizon kind of thing, but this could very well, and then you just basically come in here and you go edit, duplicate. We duplicate this. We bring it over here. Oops, hey Daisy Z. What happened? 2. Okay, why aren't you moving? Okay, Control Z. What happened? Why? Okay, why isn't that allowing me to move? Let's get out of here. Okay, this particular product may only allow one use of itself. I don't know. It could only allow, all right, one. Let's go into this and let's just try bringing it in. It could have a naming issue. Okay, so it is allowing 2 uses of itself. Z. But it's not letting me move this around. Okay, it's letting me move that one. And this one. Oh, okay. I might have to move the actual cloud itself. Okay, that's it. And that moves the gizmo, the gizmo with it. Okay, so that's how we do that. So what we do is we just delete this out, and we'll take this and we'll try to do the same thing now. Duplicate it. And wait a minute. When did Daz come out with duplicate? We've had this for a long time. It took me forever to find duplicate. It's been here for years, but it's the thing is, it doesn't do it like you would think, where you just right click and it would say copy and paste. Okay, so but we go to edit and here this duplicate, and if it's just one thing, if you're sure it's just a plane, then you would say duplicate node. And then you'll have 2 of them in your scene. It just puts them exactly where the other one is. But if it has like lots of little parts to it, like it's a house with all kinds of furniture and all kinds of stuff in it, then you would say select duplicate node hierarchies. And that will allow you to duplicate a whole house or anything, okay? So it doesn't work the way most programs where you just right click and you say copy, and then you right-click again and click and select paste. It doesn't work like that, but it does. It is copy and paste. It's basically, as long as you have it selected, then you go edit, duplicate, and it, like I said, this has 2 parts to it. As you can see, it has the gizmo and it has the cylinder. So I would want to go to, if you just use duplicate node hierarchies on everything, it will work, okay? If you're not sure if it has parts, then just always just use the you can duplicate figures. You can duplicate anything you have selected. Instances. I would assume you could. Yeah. So I would assume you could duplicate instances. The thing is that you can always come in here and go create an instance, okay? Which would be in here somewhere, I think. Yeah, new node instances. I think you might want to do that through here instead. But these are not instances. These are copies. So it's a very good question, Shaggy. These are actually copies. Yes, so that was a very helpful question because it does clarify something important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate the node hierarchies. Like I said, just always use that, but it seems to only want to let me move it by selecting all these. It all depends on how they set them up, but this allows me to move this now. And what I don't want two clouds that look exactly the same, so what I would do here is go to rotate and just rotate this thing around so it looks like it's coming from a different angle here. And then we can also scale it. All right, we scale that, and we scale this one like this. And what we can do now is X. We'll bring this one over a little bit, like that, in the world view. And then we can go back into surfaces, okay, and we can take our density multiplier down to like 0.2. Let's go to 0.01. This is what's nice about VDBs. So my suggestion, okay, is let's go 0.08. Okay, and look what we have here now. And we'll go here, and we'll do the same with this. We'll go to 0.08. Where's our density? Density multiplier, 0.08. And now look what we have. We have clouds, okay? And what we can do with these clouds, one of them could be, say, now you have your color, okay? This scattering multiplier, it says they're white. One of them could be kind of on the reddish side, like that. And the other one could be on the like yellowish side, depending on what's going on in your sky, okay? I'm going to bring this down like that. All right. And you see, this is kind of nice. And then you can put an HDRI in your scene. Okay, so this is the way all VDBs. So VDBs, if you just want clouds and you don't really care, then you can just use an HDRI, okay, and put the HDRI. But lately what I've been doing is putting blank HDRIs in, like putting clear sky HDRIs. And you have a bunch of them that comes with this, it's called Bare Sky HDRI. And that's because this product here comes with a bunch of I believe maybe volumetric or VDB clouds. And it gives you these bare skies so that you can use them with, okay, now we close this down, and now we have to go into our environment and turn on the HDRI parameters, okay, and draw the dome, and there we go, there's our dome. Let's bring our dome down a little bit, so we'll go try one, and then we're going to rotate the dome until we see the sun come into the picture. And there it is. Let's go into this is the way you adjust your HDRI, is you go into filament, you wait a moment, and filament will show you. Filament is the only mode where you can kind of move this gradually, like very easily. It's the only mode that kind of lets you move things gradually, okay? And it's still not like perfect, so we'll go 80, 66. Let's see what happens to 6. All right, what's going on here? Oh, I deleted my environment options, okay? We go now, let's try this again. 6. We'll do those and put a 6 there and see what happens. Okay, so that's not very much, so we'll go 69. Okay, so we'll go 60. So we just keep doing this until we get it in the center. 67. Okay, so let's go 65. Okay, we're going to go 65.5. 65.9. 0.8, 65.9. I think we might end up having to go to 66.9. Yeah, 60. So it's 66 point, like 2. Point, let's say 2. Okay, 66.4. So you just have to kind of get 0.4. All right, that's good enough. And now we can go back to our iRay. It's just harder to do an iRay because everything's kind of sluggish. But now what I could do is now I can come into these VDBs and I can make one of these like a real red, like go to like red. All right, and see how that's red. And this other one, I could go into here and make this one kind of yellow. And see how that one's kind of yellowish. And you can do these kinds of things. Oh, I set the wrong one. Okay, that's not what we wanted. Viewport. It's this one. Okay, so this one's kind of yellow. Now, if I turn off the environment, which would be, I am just bound and determined to mess this up. Okay, this goes here. So if we go to the environment and we go to parameters and we turn off the dome and scene, we go scene only. And then what we do is we go to this environment tab and we go to backdrop. And if we make it black, then we can really see what this, okay, now we don't have any light in our scene. Let's put a distant light in. And then we take our distant light and parameters and just, it's white. So let's give it some, let's go 5. Let's go higher than that. Let's go, where is it? I did the wrong one. This would be 5. Put a 5 here. Okay, and now you can see they're actually the opposite way around. This one's the yellow one, and that one is the red one. But that's pretty much what you can do, is you can color them, you can mix them in together. You could make these small into little, like, smaller poofs, and you could blend them in and give them all different colors. So, all right, so the thing is now we have a prime product here. This is called Kinetic Arcania. Any of these VDBs, you could make them really thin like that and turn them into clouds and put them in the sky. Okay, these big volume, fill volume, these ones literally fill the volume. So, okay, at this point, what I would like to do is take this product. As you can see, this product has materials, props, shaders, and utilities. And each grouping is a different group of stuff. So I'm going to show you now, we're going to go from kind of putting them in the scene and manipulating them in the scene. And we're going to go to actually organizing them And so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a trick here to organize. See this content library? I usually keep the content library right underneath my smart content, but I'm going to show you a trick now. We're going to move this content library over to the other side. Okay? So now we have our smart content over here and our content library over here. And now in my scene elements, you can see what I've done. Now down here at the bottom, there's this group called categories. This is where you can, as you can see, I have a lot of categories. I have anatomy, and the anatomy right now, I don't think, okay, I have internal, eye glint. Okay, so this anatomy thing should go into my figures. Okay, and it's not letting, okay, we can move the, sometimes it lets me drag these things from this upper thing, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete this one for now. It said just delete this anatomy thing. And figures these are like all of my figures in here, all the different figures. All right, but then these are figures Genesis 9. Light sets, I like these light sets. Duplicate category. Now, I don't think I have anything in here. Okay, I only have a couple of things. This light sets, we're going to delete this as well. So figures all can stay. And then props, these are electrical. I haven't finished put much of them in here. But these props, since there's not much in there as well, I think I'm going to delete this as well. Okay, these are things that I've kind of started up and didn't do anything with. Then I have materials here, iRay materials. Again, these are just not things that I've done anything with. So I'm going to delete these to make it kind of simpler for you all to see what I've done. Utilities. Now we're going to leave that here, okay? Because these are things that a lot of my utilities I keep here. In here, the most important things that I use a lot, or I keep them up here in my scripts and favorites. Okay, things that I use, Turbo Loader, Bone Minion, Ghost Lights, and things like that. I put them into my scripts menu so I don't have to go through like all of my content, smart content or content library to find things. But these are the two important. Now this default category, those do not delete that. Okay, that's very important. That's something Daz uses. So do not delete that category. All right, when you come here and into here and you see default, okay, that's that. And if you delete that, that goes away. It's very bad, okay? So now what did I have selected here? Let's go to right-click, explore product. Is that what this is? Okay, now that's not the Cloudscape. Where was that product? Okay, what's this one? Explore product. Okay, this one's called Apocalypse. It's the same idea. All right, so what I do is okay, now this has props. These are our VDBs here. All right. And so what I do here is I have this figures, and in here I have like clothing, geoshells, hair, jewelry, and also I thought I had my, okay, scene elements, and it's got VDB. Now what happened to my, okay, lie. I think that's where these are tattoos, okay? All of these are tattoos, the lie. But I also have another skin, okay, in skin, okay? As you can see, I've put a lot of elements here. Blood splashes, touch of dirt. And in here, you can see I have makeup, okay? And in the makeup, I have eyeshadow, liner, and the liner is here. These liners are lining the lips, but they're mostly lining the eyes, okay? And then lipstick, okay? All the different kinds of lipsticks for Genesis 9. See, these are all in the Genesis 9 figure 9, okay? And it works with both male and female, as you know. All right, so but then I have scene elements, okay, and I have environments, fire. So what you do is you go into this category, you right-click, and it says create a subcategory, and then I could create a subcategory. It pops up and asks for a name, and then it appears in this list, and then you can right-click on this. Now, this scene elements, I could right-click on this and create a subcategory, and I could say I want to have streets. Okay, so if I have parts of streets that I can piece together or entire roads and streets and stuff, then I can create a whole thing. And then this is the easy part, okay? Because now what I'm going to do is in this scene elements, I have this group called sky assets, okay? And I could put these in VDBs, but the VDB is sort of like just everything all thrown in together, okay? But in here, these sky assets, I do these VDB clouds, okay? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click on this, and I'm create a subcategory, and I'm going to name it VDB Apocalypse, APOCALYPSE, Apocalypsis. CALYPSE. Accept, okay? And so now I have this category in my VDB clouds called Apocalypse. Then I'm going to right-click on it, and I'm going to create a subcategory called Cameras. Cameras. All right? Now I have this selected. Then what I can do, I can right-click, I can select all, Control A and select all. You select one of them in the list and then hold the control key and hit A once, and it will select all of them. Then you can right-click, and I can either go to Categorize, Scene Elements. This is kind of like the long way to do it. And then I go into Scene Elements, and where is my Sky Assets? Okay, VDB Clouds. And then I have in the VDB clouds, I have something called VDB Apocalypse. All right, then I would select that. Then I would select cameras, and I could put them into, okay, that's the wrong group, okay. I actually want to do the cameras, okay. And so I can go that way by right-clicking and going to Categorize. And I'll do it one more time. Go through here, go to Sky Assets, go to VDB Clouds, go to VDB Apocalypse, and then select Cameras. And this will put a link. It's not going to move this. It's just going to put a link to it in there. Now, if I click out and back in, I have that in this grouping. See, so all of my cloud assets, sky assets, are here. HDRIs, sky domes, clouds, VDBs, water, weather, snow could be another one. That goes in here. So there would be fog, rain, snow. I haven't put anything in these yet, but you can have duplicates. Like I could have things in the fog, rain, and snow that are also in the VDB clouds. So you can duplicate things to make it easy for you to do it. But I'm going to show you an easier way to move stuff, okay? So I'm going to go now back into here, this default. And now the next one would be materials and iRay. And so these are all the same anyway. So I just click, they all have a list of the same group of stuff. So if you go to the top here, okay, they're all going to be the same. So what you do is you select all, okay? But what we're going to do now is we're going to right-click, create a subcategory, materials, ERIALS, materials. And then we go here, select all, Control A, and hit A once, and you just left-click, and you drag and you put them over top of that. And now all of those are in the materials as well. That's just a link to these actual files. So then we right click here again, we go props, create subcategory props. And then we go into props here and select all, Control A, drag, drop them in there. And then we go here to right click, create a subcategory, utilities. Utilities, okay? And then we select this group, okay? And sometimes they're broken up into things that you might want, like visibility, but these ones, they're all just kind of the same. So you just make sure you see this little teeny mouse. Where's my little mouse here? You can tell when it actually highlights over it. And then you make sure you put it in the right place. And if not, you have to select all like this, right click, click remove references, okay, and do it again. And then we have scene elements, which is actually my sky assets. It shows me that these are actually in, I can go, that these show up in your, this won't be here if you don't have them categorized, but it also shows you that these are categorized in that place, okay? So in your scene elements, it's a nice little feature. It shows you where these things are categorized, where you've categorized them before. If you have them in multiple places, it will show you the multiple. You just use these anyway for your default. This like you would normally to go into the props and utilities, but it also gives you an idea that these have been categorized in this sky asset scene elements. Okay. All right. So now that's one. So I can go back here now to this grouping of stuff, and I can find, what's this interesting? Okay. D-Force ground cover, and right click. Now some of these this is floating fog. Let's see what this is. Explore product. Okay, now it says SY fast fog and atmosphere for iRay. Now if I go into my sky, okay, VDB clouds. All right, VDB clouds, and you will notice, okay, see this SY fast fog. All right, okay, you'll see VDB sky. Okay, so I don't have them done here. Okay, so what I would do is an atmosphere. So this would be S5 fast fog. These are clouds. They're VDB clouds. So, so I would create a subcategory. We go SY fast fog and iRay. Oh, that's got to be retyped. I got my cap locks the wrong way. SY fast. Okay, now my fingers won't. And iRay. Okay. Now we have that in here. Now we have materials, props, render settings, and shaders. So we go create materials. Okay. Props. Render settings. Render settings. And shaders. Okay, so now we go to materials. Okay, we're going to grab these. You can also hold shift, drag them, and drop them into the materials folder. Okay, they're here. Props, select all. Oopsie doopsie. Okay, select all. We're going to go to props. Okay, they're in there. Render settings. I think this does some ground fog from your render settings. Okay, and make sure they're there. Yeah, well, if I own that, I'm going to be putting them in. And then these are shaders for the fog. Control all, can shift all. It gives you colors that are quick, so you don't have to go in and like change the colors. You can literally use them for this. Now, some of these materials may actually work with, like, go to our environment, to our scene here. We select this. Some of these things may actually, okay, it doesn't look like they're working with these particular products, okay? So let's see. That's Mega Terrain. Yeah, I believe Mars has VDB. You're right. So we'll go Mega. I believe I own that. Let's do this. Okay, Mega Terrain Mars. Okay, it has one VDB. Okay, let's delete these other VDBs out of our scene and take a look at this. Okay, it is obviously, it says it's a VDB. Now that's a nice little cloud right there. What a pretty cloud. So it's a very large cloud. That's our scene. This is a gigantic VDB. And as you can see, my computer has no problem. And if I were to just do a quick render, has no problem rendering this, okay? So it's all done in the graphics card. The old VDBs were done and right now we're already up to iteration 437, 589. It's jumping 100 at a time, 100 iterations at a time. So it's refining itself. So this is it's rendering quite quickly, but you do have to have a pretty fast graphics card for them to render. Okay, so we close this down. So we will put this in here, okay, because it is, as you said, awesome, Shaggy. So we're going to take and go now back to our content library. And because it does contain a VDB cloud, okay, these are Sky assets and these are VDB clouds. What we will do is create a subcategory, and this is going to be called Mega Terrain Mars. Oh, it won't let me put a colon in. Okay. Mega Terrain Mars. Okay. And we want environments. I could throw the whole thing in. It's just pointers. They're not actually items or objects. So we're going to go environment. Environments. Okay. Materials. Materials. Material world. Okay. Now we got props. Props. Okay, and so then we go to environments. We select all, Control A, drag them over, put them in the environments folder. Okay, they're there. We got materials, select all, put them. Those are materials for the VDB clouds. Okay, and they're in there. And then props. You can see I've done this a few times. Okay, if they've got a VDB in them, they go in here. Okay, so now these are our props, and there is our lovely VDB. It only comes with one VDB, but this could be that VDB cloud that you need. And what you do is you just take this VDB, you push it into your scene like this, way in the background. I hate the way this does this. Please fix this, Daz. Please fix this. You just can't go in because it just pops and goes in the opposite direction. Okay, scale. So now we can scale this. It's way in the back. Now I can go into parameters, but it's when you do it this way, it's really slow. Okay, that's along the Control Z. Okay, it's really slow. It doesn't, it takes forever to move it in, okay, because it's moving on the world axis rather than, so Daz has got to be fix this, okay? We should be able to move it in, you know, or out, up and down. Should kind of move it in or out, and it's just, it's like, okay, so it's back. Okay, so so now if I were to zoom at this from the top view, okay, and zoom out, then I have to zoom way, way, way out to bring it to move it from the top view. Okay, so but I could zoom in on the cloud and then zoom out again. This is a pain trying to move something really far away. And I do this a lot. I move objects. Now, if I hold, you used to be able, some things you can hold the control key and it will zoom you faster, but it doesn't seem to be working with this, okay? Or alternate key, okay? So it's just a pain in the keister, okay? But then you can move it like out further. Okay, so let's go back to the perspective view. And all right, so enough of that. So I have to go back into my and say this needs to be fixed. This is horrible. It's hideous. Trying to move an object deep into your scene is like impossible. All right, it shouldn't have, you just move it up and it should go in, and you move it down and it should go the other way. Simple, very simple, Daz, very simple. So, but there might be a reason. I might not be smart enough to know why it's done that way, okay? So, but all I know is whoever was really smart and decided how it needed to go has made it like impossible to use. So, bravo. All right, so at this point, now we come in here, we can go back to our files. We have clouds in here. So some of these are interesting. That's obviously some kind of texture for a cloud. Let's go to Explore Product, see what this is. Far above, it's called Meadows and Fields. And if we go into props, we have a high-res plane, lights, render settings. Okay, so these are environment and shaders, the MDL, okay, and I don't actually see a VDB in this here, in all of this. Let's go to all files, lights, sun, tiles. Okay, this is a brand new, this is a new product. Render, okay, this is so, but I'm not seeing actually a VDB here. Okay, this is render settings. It's this one is prop, high res plane. Okay, so this is a very cool set, but I don't see a VDB in this set. So if you select all files, it will show you everything that's in all of these categories. Yeah, you're probably right, Shaggy, that maybe they just kind of never figured you'd move something 500 miles away. But I will tell you why you move things so far, 500 miles away, okay? Because if I take a plane, all right, and I put a sky on that plane, okay? I take a VDB and I put that on that plane, and if I move that plane 500 miles away, okay, and I turn that plane into an emissive, where it's emitting light from the plane, if I put that right behind my scene, it's going to light my scene. But what if I don't want that light from that big plane lighting my scene? Well, if I move it far enough away so that the light just doesn't travel that far, that's why you move something 500 miles away. Now, if I have a big spotlight in my scene and it's shining down on my scene, and I have a plane behind my scene, okay, and I don't want the plane to create, like, if I put a light on my figures and I have a plane behind my scene, the light that's shining on my figure is going to create a big shadow on my sky. And you know, that's not the way a sky works. a shadow isn't usually cast on the sky, okay, from a light in your scene. But if you move that plane 500 miles away, okay, and you make it very, 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 very large, okay, then your spotlight in your scene is not going to have any effect on that. It's not going to create a big shadow as if it's a wall behind your figures, okay? If you move it far enough away and make it gigantic, and you know what? I do that like a lot. And I do that almost in every scene where I put planes. I don't use HDRIs. I use a plane in the background so I can fit that like 24K HDRI in my camera view, and it's not stretched all the way around the scene. And then I'm able to get a very, very dense, high-resolution image in the background of my image, of my picture, okay, so of my scene. So that is why you want this. Now, this is another cloud here. This is Real Fog. We already have that one, or do we not here? Okay, SY. Okay, so we're going to add this to our props. Okay, these are okay. So we have this. I think I'm going to get rid of this VD. Well, we'll just leave that. Okay, so this is VDB clouds. Okay, so we're going to go right click and create a subcategory, and this one's going to be SY Real Fog VDB space 2. All right, and now we have these in here. And we're going to need materials and props. Okay, it says that it's already here. Oh, it's here because I believe it's in, yeah, it's in the VDB category. Now we're going to have another category that it's in. Okay, so we're going to add materials, create a subcategory, materials. And props, right click. Props. It's amazing. Being able to like spell words is amazing. I spell things every day, and it's kind of, I'm amazed at that ability to just not just because I can spell them right, but because I can just spell at all. I don't know why I find spelling so miraculous. So, but yes, it's a thing, people. Okay, I just put them in the wrong place. Okay, so we're going to go select all. All right, from here, we're going to right click, remove references. Okay, I just messed up. Let's go back to materials. Okay, select all. Okay, let's try this again. Yes, spelling is amazing. Now we have them here. No, it didn't work. We'll try again. All right. That's funny. That's funny. That's amazing. Some people can, I had to work to learn to spell. Spelling, some people can just hear, okay, I just put them in the wrong place. Okay, so now I have them all, so I have to select them all. Right click and try again. Remove references. Yes. That's funny. That's interesting. I never really thought of it that way. That could be why I'm such a terrible typer. But that's interesting. That is very, so there's the props. And this is materials. That's funny. That's very funny. It's like, tell that to your typing teacher. It's like, I can't type because my left hand works faster than my right hand. Sorry. I don't have any homework for you today. That's funny. That's a prize excuse. It's prize winning. Okay, so we're going to go VDB. We can also find stuff by typing in VDB. And then we go in through here, and we got something here. These look like stuff that goes with something. Let's go explore product. And this is Arcania VDB Toolkit. And it comes with a bunch. Oh, I just bought this. Okay, it comes with a few. This should probably be in here. Okay, this is a toolkit for working with VDBs that enables you to quickly colorize things, resize, change things, scale, props, and it does come with one VDB, okay? Let's put this in the scene. Wow. Okay. That's obviously has both. It has fire and smoke, okay? It's a VDB that contains both fire and smoke. So this I'm going to put this in here anyway, okay, in the VDB clouds, because these are my products, okay? These are all the products. Anything that even contains a VDB is going to go in here. This is kind of like a mess which contains kind of like everything, every VDB on my, I just did a search for like in files for VDB and I just put them all into here. But this is going to be for actual, each product is broken down and categorized, okay? So I'm going to go and right click here, create a subcategory, LIKINETIC, kinetic. Okay, that's one word. ARCANIA. Is that it? How do you spell it? ARCAN, Arcana. Space. Now you can't put dashes, I don't think. We'll just go VDB tool. Kit. There it is. And we have to add. Now there's this lost and found. I'm going to put that in too. Okay, they've decided to put that particular category there. So we're going to go right click on this, add a subcategory, lost and found. Somehow it's been categorized up in that grouping. So we're going to go all. We're going to drag that over. We're going to copy them into there. Then we're going to go materials. Materials, okay. And we go default materials. Select all. We're going to put them in here. Now, I'm not going to do everything on my computer like this. I'm just going to do enough to kind of create a subcategory to kind of lock this into your mind. Props. Okay, we got props. And then we might work with a few of these VDBs and put them in the sky. We're supposed to be skies. So we're supposed to demonstrate a few skies, okay? From some of these products. So we're going to go shaders, create a subcategory. Okay, shaders, select all. Okay, the shaders go in here. And then utilities. I know how to spell that too. And so here we go. Select all. Lost and found is Dad telling you it's not properly categorized by the creator. I didn't know that. I've just kind of ignored that category over time. But you know what? It like disappeared. We go to all files. It's gone now. So apparently Daz figured out what, or maybe by me categorizing them here, because now it's gone. But now we have this field of lost and found. This is the containers turn off clip to geometry. Okay, so that's this product. So I think I'm going to leave this boring part of doing all this categorization up to me to do this. But now we have some clouds here. Cloud collection. let's take this particular thing out of the sky. All right, that scary kind of thing. And let's try now this particular cloud. Okay, this says VDB cloud, and I have things in here. All right, you see under my sky assets, I have backdrops, I have HDRIs, which I don't think I have a lot of them. I have a few. This is just, I'm not going to put all my HDRIs in here. I don't think I am. So it's just not going to happen. So, but I'm going to just keep it to remind me that they're here, okay? But these are all going to come out of here. This will be just an empty thing. I do my HDRIs in different ways, okay? So I have a folder with them all saved in it, and I just load them into the environment, okay? But then I have sky domes, and sky domes are an interesting thing. It's another object that goes over, and then they have cloud transparencies that work with the sky dome, skies and things like that. Reshade is another sky dome where it puts a dome over your scene. Sometimes it's very important to know that you can use domes over your scene, because it puts some kind of like actual texture between you and the invisible sky, and so then it's no longer invisible. And so that's something to consider. But now this, okay, we were going to the sky collection here. Now, as you can see, some of them it's weird how some of them, like it says cloud A low, cloud A, and this high. So you have I don't know if it's actually density or whether if it's the quality of the VDB. I'm not sure if there's another quality here. And it may just simply be like low density, high density, but we're going to use, let's take something like this. It looks like it's a bunch of little puffy clouds, and it looks like it's the high density one. Let's put them in, all right? And then we'll take and select them in our scene. Okay, now that looks pretty cool. And we got to put a figure in the scene so we know how big things are and where the center of our world is. You have to always do that, because you're just not going to be able to zone in on and know how far your clouds are. They're not 500 miles away in the sky. Some of them might be. They might be so far in the distance and so big. I believe that the atmosphere itself is, I think, Echo, how big is Earth's atmosphere?
The Earth's atmosphere is about 330,000 feet thick, which is equivalent to about 5,600 basketball courts in length.
Echo, how many miles is the Earth's atmosphere?
There aren't any 7,918 miles atmospheric layers.
All right. I don't believe the Earth is 7,000 miles. Okay. Echo, how many miles from the Earth to the end of the atmosphere?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, Earth's atmosphere stretches from the surface of the planet up to as far as 10,000 kilometers, 6,214 miles, above. After that, the atmosphere blends into space.
Okay, so 6,000 miles, all right, is how many miles from the surface of the Earth to the end of the atmosphere. So 500, moving something away 500 miles is not unreasonable. No, it's 6,000 miles from where it starts to blend into space. So according to Alexa, I might be wrong about that. I thought it was a lot less than that. But no, 6,000 miles before it starts to blend into space. The moon is 25,000 miles. Echo, how far away is the moon from the Earth? Echo, how many miles away from the Earth is the moon?
251,100 miles away from Earth.
Yeah, 250,000 miles. So from, I believe that's what I said. So 6,000 is very small for our atmosphere compared to how far the moon is. It's only 6,000, where it's 250,000 miles to the moon. Okay, so now we have a Genesis 9 figure in the scene. Let's go there, and we are obviously engulfed in, let's turn it to the front of the scene. Let's put some pants on our figure so they're not naked. And let's give them a male shape. We'll go with Nego. And so now we're going to mess with this. Now when I try to move this object into the scene, it's going to fight me again. Okay, Z, that was my figure. All right, let's try the actual cloud. Now it's moving in. See this? They make it like impossible to move something really far away. But okay. Now, how far in is that actually surface? Let's go to parameters, and that is 12,000 meters. Okay, in. Okay, that's probably a good place to put this. So let's put some kind of land, ground, something quick so it doesn't take me an hour. Okay, there's a prop. Let's do this. See how this ground fits in. Okay, that's Dawn Lands terrain. That wasn't quite what I expected. Let's see. We are engulfed in darkness. Okay, Z, that's a little bit prop. Arid. Let's find some kind of ground. See if this works. Mars terrain. And we're again engulfed. Let's bring this down. This is just gigantic. All right, parameters. Y translate. We needed like another parameters thing that works with object coordinates. Okay, this is too big and unwieldy. Let's find another, just something. I could just put a plane in the scene, but let's try with this here. This set. Ground plane. Okay, this works. All right. And now I've changed my environment. Let's go to the backdrop here, and we'll turn none, and then we'll go to our environment, and we'll turn this back on. I don't know why I did that. Parameters, but this, because it doesn't turn things off. Okay, and we're going to go to parameters, and okay, so then we have to go to dome and scene. Let's go with, okay, we'll go with dome and scene, and I think I have, this sun kind of image. I think I'm going to move the sun away from this. Okay, now this kind of looks, if we turn off the ground, okay, then we can do something with this. And so then we take this cloud and we scale it. Now let's make sure that this cloud is actually a VDB. You want to check that it's not a volumetric cloud. And you can go by selecting the object, going in here to your density, and if it has this density multiplier, if it looks like this, it's a VDB. There's just no doubt it's a VDB. Okay, so now when I scale it, it says density to relative size. Usually you want this on so that when you scale it, the density kind of stays the same and it doesn't kind of mess up the density. So we go scale. Okay, we're far enough away where we can scale this cloud. and move this down a little bit. All right. And we'll move it over. And then we could take, all right, that might be just a little too much. Let's bring it like this. There we go. And edit. Now we duplicate, node hierarchy. And then we take this other cloud too, and we move it over this way. See, it's much easier to scale this like that. Okay, and we move this down like maybe here. And over. Okay. And we'll rotate this. And then we'll bring this, like, scale it again. Okay, and we can rotate it like this if we want. And X translate. And we bring this over a little bit, scale this. And bring it down. Y translate. You have to kind of be artistic with clouds. They don't just form haphazardly. There's a kind of magnetic arrangement to them. And so now we take this sky, which might be a little bit to environment options. We can go to parameters. We could bring this down to 0.5. Okay, and we can take these clouds into our surfaces, and we can go to 0.05. We can go here with 0.05. Here, this one, 0.5. We don't want them and then I have this distant light. We're going to just delete the distant light. Okay. And now look what we have. And what we can do is we can look at this ground from the top. Okay. View it from the top. Okay. And select our patch. Okay, and our figure is here, and this is obviously the front. So what we do is we take, and this is what I do. I take go to parameters, and I scale this and make it smaller. Go to 9, okay. Go into texture shaded mode. Okay, and I make it smaller like this, all right. Then I go, and that's very important. Okay, the Earth is a sphere with a roughly 8,000 mile diameter. The thickness of the atmosphere is about 60 miles. From NASA, okay, 60 miles. Yeah, it may, they may, okay, it said 6,000. Okay, I'm glad that you, clouds at an altitude of 10,000 feet can be seen from a distance of 122 miles. Before they disappear from view due to the Earth's curvature. Okay, so that's very interesting. Alexa is wrong so many times. It's like I asked Alexa if eucalyptus oil and tea tree oil were the same thing, and Alexa just said yes. I mean, I'm serious. So, yeah, Alexa's wrong a lot. So. Now, it all depends on where the atmosphere, like the very last speck of atmosphere. So I'm not going to do a search on that. I'm going to trust your search because you used Google rather than Alexa, okay? So, but why it said that the atmosphere from the Earth, well, let's do a thing. How big is the atmosphere from to space. How big is the atmosphere from the surface of Earth to space? $6,000 miles. Okay, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're doing. The Earth's atmosphere extends from the surface of the planet to approximately 10,000 kilometers above, where it gradually blends into space. However, the majority of the atmosphere is concentrated much closer to the Earth's surface within the first 2 kilometers, like 6 miles, okay? 60 miles, okay? Key points about, so the atmosphere actually goes to 6,000 miles above, okay? But most of it is concentrated. So it's like, how, if you were to ask how far is the cloud, how far is the majority of the clouds, okay? Boundaries with spaces. So apparently Alexa was right. Where there's just no more atmosphere, where space just has no atmosphere. 6,000 miles. So that's quite a bit, actually. So, all right, we go here. And now what I do is I take this patch and I make it small, and you'll see why. Now I'm going to go to Tool Settings, and I'm going to go to the Geometry Sculptor. We're going to zoom in a little bit here. Okay, and this is what makes it kind of easy to sculpt this land. Okay, so now I'm going to go here with like 50. Let's go more with like 100, because this will only get so big. And if okay, now we're going to go to Perspective View, and now I can take this plane here, and I can just kind of move it around a little bit here, bring that down maybe, bring the edge here up, and bring this down, and bring this up a little bit here, maybe a little bit further out here. Let's go 150. Okay, and now I can take this piece here, bring that up, and this piece here, we'll bring that down a little bit. Well, I want his feet to have a place to, and we'll take this piece here, we'll bring this up, and we'll take this piece down a little bit. Okay, now what we can do, we can take this little patch of ground, we can scale it back to 100%. All right, and we'll have to bring it down a little bit. Why translate? Because we have moved things around a little bit. Okay, now we don't have this big flat piece of land anymore. We have something that has a little bit of curve and movement to it. Let's give him some, okay, well, we're going to save this as Skyman, we'll call it. Because I'm saving this because I have a feeling that all right, I spelled it wrong, but we'll cancel this. Okay, File, Save As Scene. I spelled it kind of S. Man. All right, and we click Accept. Yeah. Well, I see. I didn't know that. 250 miles. Yeah. So I guess I think that apparently the space station is still somehow within. It comes from Google. It's where there's no longer any atmosphere mixed with space. Okay, there's no there's no more space is relatively empty of matter. Okay, it doesn't have any matter in it, and the Earth is matter. It's atoms and things like that. So okay, so now we have something here that looks like land. Okay, where I could scatter plants or rocks or anything along the surface of this with ultra scatter. Okay, it's kind of interesting now. It just gives us something rather than this ugly flat plane. We can put some skin on our guy. Okay, so does this look like clouds, or does it look like now what I could do here is I could take these clouds, okay, as soon as we get the skin on our figure. And what we could do is take the clouds, and I'll show you a little trick here. Take these clouds, group them, select a group, and we're going to call this clouds 1, clouds group. Okay. Group. All right. And then we can take this clouds group, duplicate it, edit, duplicate. Yeah, well, that's what I'm going to try to change right now. Okay. So we're going to rotate this. Okay, Z. Undo that. We're going to rotate it along the Z plane like this. And what's it? What 180? 180 degrees. I think we're both right on the sky thing, okay? I think that technically it ends, the atmosphere ends 6,000 miles, but most of it is way, way close to the Earth. Within a few miles, it says. So, all right, now we move this Y translate. We're going to move this up. Okay, so, okay, now it's starting to look like atmosphere, like clouds. Okay, Y translate. Okay. And we could take this group here, group 1. Which one is this? X translate. We can bring this over. Y translate. Scale it. X translate. Y translate. It takes art. Okay, it takes an artistic ability to do this. Yeah, see, these VDBs are objects that, and you can copy them, and then I can take them all and put them into one group, and then what we can do is we can also color these now separately, where one of them. Now we go into the surfaces. This one could be kind of reddish. Okay, it's really weird that it came out green, but that's the way things work here. And then we go here to this one, and we can make this one kind of yellowish, which is still going to have its own kind of color. That's the yellow one over here. And then we can come here. And this one, I think I'm going to stick with the same kind of thing, the reddish and yellow. And then this one could be yellow here. All right. And give this guy a pose. Now, if we used a different kind of sky, because this looks kind of like Martian, it looks kind of odd, but if I just generated a desert here, these would look like clouds, okay? And so now if I also, let's put a pose on him because I just can't stand the way he looks like this. Okay, and we close this down. And we rotate him. Thank you for being here, Wally. So we've got 2 hours. I think I'm about ready to tie this one up. Why rotate? I have people that come on and complain because my tutorials are too long. I guess, they expect me to be like everybody else and just like come in and spend 2 seconds showing something, and it's like, I guess they don't realize that it takes like 2 days to make a marble, to make a landscape texture in Blender. So they just don't realize the work that it goes into doing this stuff. So, but I'm just going to try to appease everybody a little bit and not make my tutorials incredibly long. So that, what's this head hair? Let's give him some, let's see what this looks like. Okay, I think we got to turn it on. So we go here, on, it's probably nerd hair. No, it looks okay. All right, that works. Okay, so we're going to just try a different sky now and see if we can kind of blend things with this. You see the colors are going to change radically because of the way the sky is interacting with these clouds. Let's try a different bare sky. Okay, so this brought the intensity very high. Yeah, well, it's 12 o'clock here, so we're going to end this very soon, okay? So we're going to go now back to our environment. It says 1:51, so I have about 7 minutes left, and this tutorial is coming to an end. Okay, so it's been very nice. Okay, so we're going to bring this down here, this environment down to 0.5. Let's bring our, now that doesn't look very realistic. Okay, so, but if we take our colors down a little bit, now obviously the sun is up here. Let's go to our filament mode and let's put our sun. Okay, where's the sun? We're going to go translate, rotate, X. Oh, that's the wrong thing. We need to go to our, where is it? Our environment option, dome rotation X, is it? Z is it? Okay, and Y, X, dome rotation. Okay, I think this might be down. Okay, Z. Let's rotate, dome rotation. I can't see this particular. Where is our? Let's create a camera. Now we're running out of time here. Let's go here, accept. There's our sun. Okay, so we're going to bring, so we go back to our environment and we bring, what was it, dome rotation X. Okay, we bring it, I think I want the sun over here. So we're going to go now Z and bring it down. My clouds are blocking it, so I can't see. All right, so we'll go block these, turn these off, turn these off. Okay, now we can see, now environment, and this allows us to see the sun in, okay, here we go. All right, he's glossy for some reason. I'm not sure why. Oh, this is filament again. Okay, so, all right, so now we go back to iRay. We can turn our clouds back on. Our clouds, I've given them really weird colors, so we're going to go back really as quick as we can and just give them some normal colors. I kind of overdid it with the color scheme on the clouds. So we go to this and we go with a little more pastel. Okay. We go to surfaces, VDB, okay, and we go like this. There's 1, 2. Clouds aren't like that bright kind of color. And then we go here. And instead of that deep red, we go to just something kind of really light yellowish, like that. And then we go with this. And instead of that kind of really bright yellow, we can kind of go with, I think I'm stick with maybe a greenish, bluish. All right. So, and I think one of these is still too red. Not sure where that red's coming from. Okay, this one here. We go a little bit whitish, more white. Okay, I think it's coming from this VDB. Okay, and so we can go to the environment options, parameters. So all right, so we go here now with our, we go to 0.5, let's go 0.1. All right, now that's kind of cool. Now we take and put a spotlight in the scene. All right, that turns off my camera light. Then we look through the spotlight and we focus on our Genesis 9 figure. We got 4 minutes to finish this scene. Okay, so we go to spotlight and we're going to come from this angle, which would be kind of sort of like our sun. Maybe it's bouncing off something, his spaceship that's in front of him. Here we go. And then we go to our camera. Let's lock our camera here. And then we'll give our spotlight a little bit of lumens. Okay. And that would be here. Let's go 4. And let's go 5. Let's go 8. And let's take the... All right. And save this. Now we could put clothes on him and all kinds of other stuff, but let's just end this here. I could put some kind of rocks and things in here. A little robot, some spaceship stuff. We could give him some kind of like Star Raider kind of clothing and all. But what we're going to do here is just, this gives us an atmosphere, okay? And I could make this, you can make this atmosphere. I don't know, let's see. We go into just tool settings here for a minute. See where you can enable emission enable. And once I enable this emission, I can actually make the emission scale offset, emission temperature, and okay, I'm not really sure what I'm doing here with the emission, but there's a way to multiplier where you can, okay, this looks like something here is happening. Okay, Z. All right, so it all depends on if this particular VDB has that characteristic. So now what we can do is we can do a render and see what this looks like in a render. And okay, so let's check our render settings. And we're going to go to render, quality, general, and I kind of wish these clouds were white, okay, rather than this dark color, but it's okay. And that's where the emission can kind of come in, or just shining a white light on them from some angle. That's how you. And because these clouds, yes, they're far away, but because they're far away, I can light them now with colored lights and light them the way I want, because they're like 500 miles between the sky dome and 500 miles away from my scene, which means I can light them the way I want to light them with spotlights, okay, or point lights, or however I want to light them. And and the light isn't going to affect my scene. It's because it's so far away. If I want the light to affect and bounce off and bounce into my scene, then I move them closer, okay? That's how you do it. And so we are now, we've been 2 hours. So I'm just going to do I'm going to do one quick render. I got to make sure that my optimization, okay, progressive render. We go maximum samples, maximum time. And we go here to general, and that's 2000. We'll go 1920. So we can see it in our screen here. And let's do a quick render. And so this is how you do it. Well, that's very nice. Thanks. Now his feet are going through that. It takes a lot of really tedious work to get this kind of stuff, these scenes. But that is a clue that these clouds, they kind of look realistic. They do look like they belong in this world here, okay? What I would suggest is like something like this, okay? Just to kind of show you a little bit, take you a little bit further into this, okay, is to go with a fog wall, okay? And take the fog wall here and grab the fog wall parameters. Z, move the fog wall back a little bit, okay? Move the fog wall down, scale it along the, okay, we have to go, now I'm getting a little bit more in depth here. But we grab this, we go to our surfaces, select this, and we turn on the relative so we can scale it to size. And then we take this fog wall and we go to parameters, and we can scale it like this, but we can scale it, X? Okay, X is that way, Z is down like this. Okay, there's our fog wall. And so what it does is it just, okay, and we can rotate it Y. That's the wrong way, Z. Rotate it X. That's the wrong way, Z. Okay, I can't quite figure out what I'm doing here. But what this does is, let's see if we have a visual representation. Control L. Okay, where's our fog wall? I don't see the fog wall here. Okay, so that it doesn't appear as though Sickle Yield has given us an actual visual representation of the fog wall. So, which is kind of, it makes it harder to work with, but then in some ways it makes it easier. So, all right, well, the fog wall, what it's meant to do is to obscure the horizon a little bit so that the land doesn't just drop off kind of. It's meant to just kind of blur this line a little bit here. but you don't want it so high. Okay, that Y is the depth. Okay, all right. So X is how wide it is. Okay. So Z would be how high it is. What we want to do is just bring it down enough. I can't really see what. Okay, see now, see this little fog wall. Okay, we can Y translate. And see how that just softens the horizon a little bit. We can move it in a bit. Like that. Okay, see how that works? And then we can go into the density and make it even a little more dense. So we go 50. Okay, see how that works there? It just blends the horizon into the world a little bit. Okay, that's going to do it. I am going to play my splash screen. I'll come back and say goodbye after it plays. I'll be right back. Thank you for watching, people. I'll be back with a video soon of me actually in the video. I had face surgery, some surgery on my face, and so I look like a Cabbage Patch doll right now. So, this, you know, there's worse. I could look worse than that, you know, or one of the Muppets. So at this point, Angus, you have a lovely evening, friends, and a friend to you, and a wonderful time in the hinterlands now. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications. I hope you have. And Shaggy, thank you very much. Yeah, I had face surgery. I talk about it a little bit more in some of my other videos, but you can learn about it. But it's healing. It's just kind of minor. I had a couple of cysts. I had a tiny little cyst on my eyelid, and I had a cyst between my nose and my eye, and they removed them with a scalpel. And when it heals up, you won't even notice it. Okay, it will. I can tell you, the one between my eye and my nose. There might be a tiny little white discoloration there, but it's smaller than, it's a little bit bigger than a piece of rice, okay? So, and you won't even see it. It'll be a slight discoloration there. So, but other than that, I'm doing well. Right now, it's kind of like a big red scab. So, and the one on my eyelid is almost healed. So that was I lost a couple of eyelashes out of that deal. So, but the surgeon was amazing. So this is going to do it for me. Thank you for watching. I hope you have learned something. I think dragging and dropping those products into being able to just kind of grab things and drag and organize things into categories so that you can come right in here and click on your content library and go in and find things. Like now, all of my Sky assets, I don't have to go and look for them. I'm going to have them all here in this VDB cloud world that I can just come into and peel down into, and there are bare skies. And look at these different cloud assets. Lumpy clouds. Here we've got props. Look at these clouds. These are all VDBs. Not all of them. This particular product has VDB and it has the other kind of cloud things that are not VDBs, but they are transparent. They are cloud kind of. I forget the term now. I had it like all through this, and then I've kind of lost it. So we got cloud trails. Okay, these are cool. Happy trails. All right, so these are cloud trails and other kind of clouds all in here. This is an amazing set. So if you want to spread some kind of cloud like this, it might look less like fog and more like clouds. So take care. Good night to you. Thanks for being part of the chat. And Angus and everybody else who's been here and participated, much love. Thank you for the loyalty to this channel. It's very nice that you come in and be part of the channel. I love you very much, and I will see you again soon in the next Ez3DTv tutorial channel. That's a mouthful, I tell you. But I've gotten really good at just letting it roll right off my tongue. So take care. Bye-bye. Thank you again. Have a wonderful rest of your day.